Well, hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today I'm going to show you how to change your handle around on your CZ Scorpion, your Evo 3 S1. So if you have already changed your handle around and know exactly how to do it, that's just fine and dandy. But I think there's a lot of folks out there. I've looked up a lot of stuff on YouTube, and a lot of people tear these cocking handle springs up whenever they go to change this handle out from one side of your CZ Scorpion over to the other side right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to show you how to change this over. And a lot of people are breaking their charging handle, it's not charging handle, cocking handle spring, and it's not your recoil spring that I'm talking about. There's actually a little what I would call it more like a detent type of spring, so that when you change this handle over from one side to the other side, then you don't, what it does is it gives some resistance to this handle so that it don't move around. A lot of people are breaking these springs in here and they don't even know they broke a spring. Oh, they know, I don't know if they realize it or not, but we know, with these Scorpions, we can pull this cocking handle up like this, and it's real cool because you knock it and it charges, puts your round in the chamber for you, just like that. And whenever it's in this position, there's no play in it really. But whenever you cock it, you see this rattle, this little play in it. It's not supposed to be there. There's a spring that prevents that from happening. And if you have the magazine in it and you pull the handle back on it, now what you see is a little more obvious. See this travel in this charging handle? It's not supposed to be there. And a lot of people have this play in here and either don't realize it's not supposed to be like that because they have already changed this charging handle around to the other side. They broke the detent spring, or they broke it and don't know how to fix it, or don't know it's broke to start with. So the reason I'm saying all of this is because this is a borrowed gun. Luckily I have good friends that don't go wacko whenever I break their gun. So I gotta fix this, and so here we go. This is how you do it. So you just, there's a plastic pin right here. I like to use wood whenever I can because it's non-marring, so I just have this wood dowel. And forgive the background noise, it's raining on a tin roof. So you just take this on the pin and you just give it a little bump. You pull the pin right here the rest of the way out. This is what it looks like. This part right here, that little piece goes to the rear of the gun whenever you put it back in, like this. So we're going to set this aside, and if you had a detent spring in here, which I don't because I already broke it, then you would take a dowel like this, I just took and shaved it down with my knife, and just because I'd rather use wood. Then you would stick this inside here and push the detent spring, and then once it cleared, then this charging handle would come right out, which I didn't have to push the detent spring because it's broke. And then you can change it over to this side. So now what you do once you get this out, I'm going to put this aside. Once you get this out, then what you have is a roll pin. It's just a little teensy weensy roll pin. These are smaller than most of us Americans use, and there's a little hole right there. And in order to tap this roll pin out, you need to be real careful, obviously. So I'm going to give someone an advantage that you may not have by knowing what the size of this roll pin is. I'm going to show you on here about 60 thousandths of an inch, 61 thousandths of an inch. But this roll pin is the old roll pin, which I'll reuse. But if it was a new roll pin, then it would be a little bit larger than that, by maybe 10 thousandths of an inch, because these roll pins, as you know, they close up. But I bought a spare just in case. So now the other very important, this is kind of an intricate job, and I have screwed this up already, and I'm going to tell you how you can do it without screwing up. What is a seemingly very simple process, if you're me, sometimes can turn into just a very adventurous project, I should say. So now, in order to knock this roll pin out, you'll want to find, if you don't have a punch that tiny, what I done is I took a little Allen wrench, and I went ahead and just broke it off. They break off, and you'll want something, now this one here is about 10 thousandths of an inch smaller, at 52 thousandths of an inch. So the reason I'm showing you that is because you may not be able to measure that roll pin if it's inside of here. And if you use something too small, you'll drive it into the roll pin, spreading it open. And if you use something too large, you'll just be wedging it into the hole, into that little tiny hole. So the next thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to be very careful in taking this roll pin out. So you're going to need to vise this charging handle down on a vise. Here's some good advice, no pun intended. Okay, pun intended. So what you do is you get it on something solid, and however you decide to do it, this is how I decided to do mine. But if you don't do this, you want to get as close as you can to where the hole is going to be, and you want it tapped down solid, just so it's not going to move at all when you use your little tiny punch that we made, or you own already, and a little tack hammer. And you're just going to tap 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 really light, alright, because this is little tiny stuff. It's a lot of taps, not a few hard ones. So then I just thought I'd get that out of the way. And now I'll get this out of the way, because I have already knocked this punch out. As a matter of fact, I've already attempted one YouTube video, and as I was trying to get a good shot, the spring sprung and went flying, and that was the last I seen it, so I had to do another order, and it took another 10 days. So, trying to save you some trouble. Now, we have the pin out. If I wasn't doing a YouTube video, I wouldn't have drove the pin all the way out, but I needed to put it back in the gun to show you what it looks like when you have a problem with a loose charging handle. So I go all the way here at the Elvis Ammo channel. So here we go. Now we need to just first thing we're going to do before I show you the little spring that I'm going to install is we're going to start this roll pin. Alright, so I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer here. A little bit closer. Like that, maybe. And we're going to just start this roll pin. And I have two of them because my luck has not been good so far. So let's see if we can get this started. I'm going to just try to get it started with some needle nose just to start with here. Just kind of give it a little twist like that. We'll see if it'll go. Hopefully I don't tear something up. I haven't done this part yet, so I'm going to do a little tap. And what I don't want to do is get it in there too far. I just barely want to get it started, and I think I'm good. It's just barely started there, because now we have the spring, and I'll show you that. This is the little piece. This is a little rascal right here. Alright, there's the little tiny spring right there. Alright, if you want to see it up close to a 9mm bullet, there we go. It's a tiny rascal. I already lost one of these. They're only $4 with $8 shipping, you know, because they couldn't put that in an envelope with a stamp on it from CZ. So now this piece right here is the piece that puts tension on the housing that don't allow this charging handle to flip around all over the place. And it goes to the opposite side of this charging handle, like that. Alright, now this spring has to push all the way down to where this little piece right here meets the very bottom of this slot right here. Bottom of that slot right there is to go in like this. And this is where you can get in trouble. So let's take all precautions. Everybody knows on the Elvis Ammo channel I use blue tape for everything. This is no exception. Matter of fact, this is the most important reason to use tape. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of tape right over this piece right here, because if this spring decides to go flying, we'll have a better chance of tracking it down. Alright, here we go. So I'm just going to get that on there as best I can. Alright, so now we have a piece of tape on the spring. Learning my lesson slowly, just like I always do. So now we're going to get this. We're going to get that started in there like this. And I'm going to use a wooden Q-tip, a big Q-tip, and I'm going to push that spring because there's going to be tension on it. When I push it, it's going to try to collapse inside of here. And then we got to get this roll pin pushed down to where it goes inside of the bend in the spring that's going, it's going to go inside of here. So there, like that. And best thing to do is probably not pull this out until your finger is over the hole in case this thing goes flying. So let's attempt. We're just going to push this down. You got to push it down hard. Okay, it looks like we're all the way in. Now I have my thumb fingernail over what feels like, no, I would have been a fool because I didn't either. Don't let this thing go flying. That's the idea here. And YouTube already messed me up once. So now, it looks like it's all the way in. But one thing we want to do is make sure this thing don't go flying. So let's use some more tape. I got my finger over the hole. I'm serious. Alright. So now I'm going to put a piece of tape right over that. Like that. That's what I'm going to do. Now hopefully this thing has not moved on me. It looks good. Alright, so I have tape. I taped this baby up so that spring don't go flying, see? Not gonna let that crap happen to me again. When you borrow a gun and you decide to go working on it, because this thing wouldn't have broke if I didn't decide to work on it. I did a video on this CZ. I did a review. So now we're just going to do some real light tapping. And I mean light. I'm just going to keep tap tap tap. That's how I do it. I'm just tapping it, tapping it, tapping it. And eventually we're going to have to make it go into the other side of the hole over there. Now right now it looks like we're probably getting close to lining up with the hole on the other side. But I'm not going to be fooled yet. Now it looks like we're still all the way down. Still all the way down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this to line the see if this fits in there. Okay, it's not going to fit in there. So let's give it a little bit of a push with the pliers. You guys getting to watch all the mess ups here. And, you know, whatever happens, happens, right? Okay, it looks like we're close here. I'm just gonna give it a little more tap and just see if it'll work its way in there. Alright, I'm gonna finish working this in. I might do a little wiggle jiggle, you know, because it's got to start. I'm gonna use a another bit to line this hole up right here, and then I'll bring you right back. Okay, so what I've done is I just took another drill bit that I had here that was small enough to fit into the hole, and I lined that pin up on the other side because it was just barely out of alignment. I lined that up, and then I just took my pliers and just finished. You can see the pin is still sticking out a little bit there, and so I just took my pliers and pushed it right in, and it's not in all the way yet. You just want to take your time. You know, everything is slow. You give it a squeeze and you let it. I actually put a little bit of 301 oil in the bottom. You can see the oil on it right here. I put a little bit of 301 3-in-1 on it. You can use whatever kind of oil you want, but I had it handy here. And just to help it slide in the hole there. So now I am flush on both sides with this pin, and I even put some more tape around this. Man, I'm serious about this tape now. Give it a couple of taps here, won't hurt nothing. Just to make sure. Yep. So now we can remove this tape because the pin is in beyond this spring. So now this is the only thing that you see. The lower part of the spring is just inside this crack right here. You probably see that. And this is now a detent. See? You just push it in like that. And it's pretty stiff. So now that is how you repair what we call a cocking handle spring. Alright? And this thing has just been a mess. Just throw that out for me. Okay, so now let's put it in there and let's see how all this works. Alright, so then you take the charging handle and it just slides right in. Well, there's a detent here now, so in order to slide this in and not mar the rifle, see, we need to push this detent in. So take and push it in, There we go. And there. So now we have this in, and there's no play, and then we take our pin and push it right back in. So now what you have, we'll remove the mag, drop the bolt, and you don't have this thing sliding all over the place. So now see how this is that spring, you know, it'll allow you to push it, but it don't just slide down on its own because it's held in place with a detent spring. Alright, so now if you want to change it around, you take and push your pin, pull your pin, pull your charging handle out to here. It's going to stop because that spring, and if you force this forward, that's where you break your spring. So then you reach back here, you push the spring forward, and this comes right out. And then you can change it around to the other side if you want. And you do it the same way. But I'm going to put it back the way it was. So you go to here, that detent spring, give it a push, and that's it. And then you take your pin with this piece facing rear of the rifle toward the stock, and make sure that's out of your way, and that's all there is to it. Now what I showed you is a gold mine. You just have no idea, so I hope you appreciate that. That's how you replace the charging handle, the cocking handle spring on a CZ Scorpion Evo 3 S1. YouTube, I'll see you in the next video.